Hi, welcome to Closers. This is a new MMO that just came out recently from Imasi. Um, Figured I'd go ahead and take a look at it because it seems to be fairly well liked so far, even though it's only been out for a few days. Okay, to get into it, the channels are based on levels. Gotcha. Okay. Unable to find. Oh. Well, that's a little sad. Let's try this one. There we go. Alright, let's see. What kind of characters do we got here? Alright. Shahali. I actually like gunblades. Range damage dealer. Ranger. Fighter. I don't like. Never was a melee user.
레비아예요. 저를 도구로 부르실 건가요?
빨리 덤벼. 나 시간 없다고.
Alright, so it looks like the classes are, well, not so much classes as you pick your character, so they're going to be, looks like gender locked. That's not too terribly bad. It'll probably irk irk some people, but
레비아예요. 저를 도구로 부르실 건가요? 잘 따라오세요.
I'm a fan of the spear.
빨리 덤벼. 나 시간 없다고.
Alright, well, might as well go with this guy because he's got a,
별 수 없지. 가볼까? 별 수 없지. 가볼까? 별 수 없지. 가볼까?
Alright, there we go. And let's move into the tutorial. But yeah, a lot of people, I'm not a big fan of gender locked classes. Me personally, I'm not a fan of them. The main reason why is because it feels like it kind of forces you into a stereotypical role. For example, me, I personally, any type of MMO, if I'm able to, I usually pick up on a mage type class or a healer class. And then you got your gender lock classes, which which usually end up making your mages and your healers female.
송은이 경정님, 이 상황에서 하품이 나오십니까?
나올 만도 하지. 한참 낮잠 자는데 불려 나왔으니.
긴장 좀 하세요. 곧 차원종이 출연할 거란 말입니다.
어차피 2급 피라미드겠지. 여긴 평화의 도시 강남이니까. 근데 쟤들은 뭐야? 왜 대피도 안 하고 저러고 있어?
아, 이번에 새로 배치된 클로저 요원들이라고 합니다.
에? 그냥 애들 같은데? 요즘은 저런 애들도 작전에 투입해?
일부러 어린 위상 능력자들을 모았다고 합니다. 유니온의 새로운 프로젝트라고 하던데요.
그래. 유니온의 비밀병기라 그 말이지. 그럼 쟤들한테 다 맡기고 우린 철수하자. 나 아직 졸린데
경정님, 지금 작전 중입니다.
이상 변곡률 급상승. 차원종 반응입니다.
오케이. 자, 빨리빨리 처리하고 철수들 하자. 뭐야? 왜 안 나와?
대장님, 뭔가 이상합니다.
어? 뭐가 이상한데?
이상 변곡률의 상승폭이 기준치를 훨씬 초과했습니다. 일반적인 2급 차원종 레벨이 아니에요.
뭐? 그게 뭔 소리야? 장비가 고장난 거 아니야?
차원종 출현. 서너머타이 확인. 맙소사, 저건 C급입니다. 어째서 강남의 C급 차원종이?
이유 같은 건 나중에 알아보자고. 전대원, 사격 개시.
일반 공격은 안 먹힙니다. 철수해야 해요.
이상 관통탄 가져와. 그거라면 어떻게든 될 거야.
그거 한 발에 1,000만 원이 넘는다고요. 지원 끊긴 지 오래입니다.
하여간 그놈의 예산 타령.
여보세요? 제 말 들리시나요?
네, 잘 들립니다. 그런데 휴대폰 할인 구매 같은 거라면 나중에 전화해 주실래요? 지금 좀 바쁘거든요. 그게 아니라 유노니 관리원 김유정이라고 하는데요. 김유정이고 박유정이고 간에. 무이자 대출도 안 받는다고. 유니온?
네. C급 이상 차원종의 출현에 따라 현 시간부로 지휘권은 제가 맡도록 하겠습니다. 뒷일은 저희 클로저들에게 맡기고 경찰들은 얼른 퇴각하세요.
오케이. 부탁 좀 할게요. 자, 모두 후퇴. 우린 2차 라인까지 물러난다.
빨리빨리 보내요.
Okay.
나 시간 없다고.
Like I said,
안녕.
they tend to lock gender lock certain classes, which just aggravates me. But I can see with that opening video, I see why they did it. They're trying to go for an anime like carrot class, so or a game.
원래대로라면 자기 소개부터 하는 게 먼저겠지만 지금 우선 송은이 경정을 도와서 앞에 출연한 차원종들을 모두 처치해줘.
알겠어요. 그런데 어떻게 싸우면 되는 거죠? 전 실전은 처음인데.
괜찮아. C급이라고 해도 강력한 위상력을 가진 사람에게는 그리 위협적이지 않을 거야. 기본적으로 공격과 점프 두 가지를 명심해.
뭔가
Z키로 공격.
All right, wow, this is a bit of a blast from the past. Remember when old action games were designed like this?
이게 다인가?
잘했어. 그럼 다음 구역에 있는 차원종들도 부탁해. 이번에는 좀 더 효율적으로 위상력을 사용하는 법을 알려줄게. 스킬을 사용하면 기본 공격으로는 불가능한 특수한 능력들을 사용할 수 있어.
네네. 그러니까 아직도 일이 안 끝났던 거군요.
레벨업을 하면 스킬을 획득해서 스킬을 배울 수 있습니다. 스킬은 일반 공격보다 훨씬 강력하며 기본 공격을 캔슬하고 즉시 발동할 수도 있습니다. 스킬 레벨이 올라갈수록 공중 발동이나 스킬 캔슬 같은 특수한 기능이 추가됩니다. 특정 위치에 캐릭터가 도착하면 자동으로 사이킹 무브를 시전하여 맵을 이동합니다.
움직일 수가 없어요.
진정해. 공격을 받고 있는데 이제 강제 캔슬 시는 잘했어. 그리고 강제 캔슬 스킬은 평상시에도 전방위 공격 스킬로 사용할 수 있지만 쿨타임이 기니까 주의하라고 적혀 있어.
저기요. 혹시 지금까지 그냥 그걸 읽고 계셨던 거예요?
에이, 설마 그럴 리가 없잖니? 이건 전부 혹독한 훈련을 통해 내 머릿속에 숨겨진 고급 정보이라고.
세 보이는 녀석이군. 어디
특정
가보자.
위치에 캐릭터가 도착하면 자동으로 사이킹 무브를 시전하여 맵을 이동합니다.
저기 B급 차원종이. 아니, C급도 아니고 어째서 B급 차원종이 여기 나타난 거지? 조심해. B급은 이 지역에서 C급 이하의 차원종을 소환하거나 제어할 수 있는 B급 개체야. 엄청나게 강력하다고.
이제 게임하러 가도 되겠지?
I키를 누르면 인벤토리 화면을 열 수 있습니다. 입수한 아이템들을 슬롯에 맞게 장비해 보세요.
Equip it all? Okay, let's see. Level 10 require. I can equip that. Let's see. Equip that. What was that even? Ah. And the doll is a trinket. Okay. Okay, not sure some of the stuff that we actually just took care of. The items we got. I know we got some equipment, but like I said, it's a new game. Not a lot of information's out about it yet that I know of. But then again, I didn't actually go look for the information as it is. I kind of downloaded it and just jumped straight into it. Okay. Zone 1. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's look around. Okay, that explains a little bit of lag. It's also kind of a little bit like Maple Story, and there's a few other games out kind of like it. But at the same time, there's a few other games, but
과학은 언제
seems like here lately they've actually been going into a little more into what do you call it?
난 다시 연구를 해야겠네요.
The older play styles. Oh, so there's a crafting system. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so there's no area gear. It's a costume. Okay, it requires gold. Oh, okay. So there's a pet system. Okay, let's see. Boss weapons. Okay, so I know I'm kind of being a little bit quiet about this. I'm just looking through the stuff at the moment, trying to get a rough idea of how the game's going to work. Okay, well, the crafting system looks pretty bland at the moment.
이상한 게 나와도 잘 가시. 이상한 게 나와도 화내지 마세요.
Okay, let's see. Costumes, which use the actual money they give you. Okay.
물질 변환을
Which, don't get me wrong, these games, I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with the free-to-play model. Or not the free-to-play model, but the, what do you call it?
일단 먹고 봐요.
The microtransaction models. Don't get me wrong, I understand why they don't like them, because there's some games in which the microtransactions are utterly ridiculous, and then there's also, you have to worry about the some of the games that actually do have a pay-to-win model, which is kind of depressing when they do that, because in my mind, when they actually put those types of games in place, they're only being greedy. And they're actually they're actually making it so that some of their potential money buyers actually won't purchase anything from them. One of the game in particular that I still play every once in a while. I love the game and I love the series itself, but the reason why I said but the reason why I don't like its the microtransaction model is not Star Wars: The Old Republic. I still play the game. I love the game. It's an amazing game, but they put so much microtransactions in that game. So many things are locked behind a paywall that it's ridiculous. I mean, you even can't have you're even locked out on a certain amount of money if you're on a free-to-play account, and I find it ridiculous. But the game itself is still amazing, but the model for it's greedy. So I would just say play the game, but understand that the developers have adopted a very greedy stance. But now that being said, they are using the money to constantly improve on the game. So there is a lot of stuff, so they're not 100% greedy, I guess. But there's a lot of like the newest story thing they got going on, which is freaking awesome. So, but other than that, there's a few out there that are just really terrible about the pay to win and the microtransactions. But microtransaction as a whole, I don't find a big of an issue, because if the game is fun and they actually do work, and I see they work on the game, and I do see that the money I put in, that people are putting into it, is actually being used to improve upon the game, then I see no problem with investing. I'll buy some things here or there, but that's only if it's not ridiculous. It means I look in and I see stuff that plainly screams pay to win, or important aspects of the game locked behind a paywall. I lose interest pretty quickly. Oh, speaking of which, another game that irks the crap out of me about that kind of stuff is Ark. Not Ark Survival Evolved, but there's an MMO called Ark. I can't remember the full name of it, but I don't like its crafting medium. I mean, basing off of energy makes it almost impossible to actually improve upon anything. And you have to put money into it to be able to be a crafter, which is ridiculous.
활약을 기대하고 있어요.
I don't know about now,
힘들다.
but once upon a time, the game used to have a pretty toxic group of. The community was actually pretty toxic. They have a nice little system going on where if you commit a crime, then you'll go to court and so on. But the problem is, more often than not, those people that go to court, or the people that's in charge, are usually people who are just as guilty as the ones they're putting away.
반갑습니다.
And you'll see them show favoritism. Like if somebody of their clan commits a crime, they'll let them off. Nothing. But yet somebody that's an enemy, they'll hit them in. They'll throw them in for the maximum amount of sentence they can. So, but like I said, I don't know if they managed to solve that issue. I haven't played the game in years. The game is fun. Don't get me wrong. It has a great story, but they just made too many bad decisions with the game that kind of ruined it.
무슨 일이죠? 다녀오세요. 관리요원 김유정입니다. 활약을 기대하고 있어요.
돈도 없고 나이도
Okay. I know I kind of rushed through that stuff that was put in front of us. I apologize for that.
나이도
I really do apologize for it. I have a bad tendency of doing that. While I do like reading the story, I usually read a lot faster than most people.
힘들다.
Because of that, I gotta remind myself to slow down and think a little bit so that you guys can actually read yourself. Okay, let's see.
돈도 없고 나이도 아 힘들다. 아 힘들다. 어제 너무 마셨나? 어제 너무 마셨나? 아 힘들다.
They give me the ability They give me some items that only last a day,
어제 너무 마셨나?
and they're for level 70.
어제 너무
That's not a good sign.
반가워. 졸려. 또 보자고.
Okay.
나도 좀 앉아 있으면 안 되나? 나도 좀 앉아 있으면 안 되나?
I just got a cat tail.
언제 끝나지?
Alright,
이거?
let's take a look here. What do we got? Ah, I hate
언제 끝나지 이거?
temporary items.
졸려. 졸려.
I really don't like temporary items. I lost interest in them one time when I was playing Mabinogi. Mabinogi has a lot of temporary items, but there's a lot of games that has them, and they're just outright annoying. So there's a fatigue system. Because to me, when you put something in, you're selling something that's temporary. Now, since they was given to me for free, it's not that big a deal. But there's some games out there where you'll buy costumes and armor that's literally like 1 day armor. And a game for an example for a game that does have microtransactions, but they're not really bad in the way that they're not out for a cash grab. In my eyes, is like Warframe, an amazing game. I have put close to $1,000 into the game since I've played it, if not more. Over the years, and it's because it's such a great game, and it does not require that you buy stuff. There's a lot of stuff in game that you cannot even get, even if you were to pay for it. Try and pay for it. but everything in game you can get without buying it. While there is some pay options in the game, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to. So that's an example of a game that did the microtransaction correctly. It's an amazing game. They've added a lot of good stuff to it,
수고해.
and I'll go again. And like I said, there's a bunch of good games out there, and then there's some games that have a lot of as heavy microtransaction. The story ain't worth anything at all.
빨리빨리 덤벼. 나 시간
It's
없다고.
almost like they just don't care. Now, this game is new, so the verdict is still out on it. As if they're going to be using the money from the microtransactions to actually improve upon the game. And I mean meaningful improvements. Okay, now as a heads up, this game, I probably won't do a series on this game, unless you guys want me to. I mean, from the way the game is set up, it could easily be a story-based series. But that is literally only if you guys want me to. I may do a few episodes, but I probably won't do anything long-term unless you guys ask me to do so. Mainly because MMOs is one of those types of games that people seldom do long-term series of them because there's really no point in doing it. Unless it's kind of like you're looking for some type of strategy guide for the get through specific things.
이제 게임하러 가도 되겠지?
I don't know, I might. It kind of just depends on how I feel. There's several games already that I'm gonna be doing some series for. There's one or two that I'm probably not gonna do complete to completion simply because of how chaotic or how pointless the, well, I can't say pointless, but how chaotic the game is. Unless you guys ask me to keep going on it. But other than that, I probably won't. I'll probably be clearing out some of my
끝났으면 낮잠 좀
some of the games
잘게.
that I'll be actively playing. For example, like Dissidia. Dissidia, I'll put an episode every so often. It ain't gonna be anything that's gonna be um,
관리 요원 김유정입니다. 활약을 기대하는
it's not gonna be anything that's gonna be consistent. Means I might put an episode here. It might be a couple weeks, maybe a month before I do another episode.
정도였네요. 과학은 언제나 이번 달
Okay. But yeah, there's a bunch of things out there that I'm gonna be looking into, but
연구비가 필요해요.
it's one of those things that it's gonna be kind of.
스킬 레벨
Sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. A little bit random, I guess, is the best way to go about it. Unless you guys decide ask me to do more than one of them, and in which case I might.
스킬 레벨은 체크됐나?
Okay, let's see. This is called the Black Lamb, which. Alright.
연구비가 필요해요.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, there's gonna be some things here or there that I'll do, but for the most part, there's gonna be some that I ain't gonna do very long term, but I'm still gonna set them, have them classified as a series.
특병대 송은이야.
Mainly because I kind of want to actually hang on to those types of items as a series, because I figured that they would be something that'd be nice to have. But once again, this game, I don't know. I might do maybe 5, 6 episodes of it. Kind of depends on how I feel on it, and what you guys think. I mean, every so often I might come back to it, but who knows.
중성. 내가
용건을 말씀해 주십시오. 충성. 사건이 발생했습니까? 충성. 근무에
Alright, well, we'll go ahead and take out this mission, and then I'll end the episode for now. I'll probably do a few more episodes of it, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do more than that. like I said, I know I'm repeating myself. I apologize, but I really won't get the feel of what you guys want until I start getting more subscriptions, or you guys start leaving more comments, likes, and so on. But before I end the episode, I'll give my first impressions of the game, um, so that kind of and then when I decide after I probably got about 5 or 6 episodes done, I'll give what I consider a bit of a opening day review. Okay, so far I've been to this map. I don't know if I accidentally went to the same area, which I very well may have, or if they're just reusing maps. Which, if that's the case, then copy paste maps won't impress anybody. Yeah, I think I accidentally redid a level. Okay, that's fine. We can just take care of this level and go on to the level I'm supposed to. Okay.
이제 게임하러 가도 되겠지?
Alright, let's go to the hub and push on to the level I was supposed to do. And then I'll give my first impressions, and then we'll see if my impressions change after I finish doing a little short gameplay series of the game.
빨리빨리 비벼. 날 시간 없다고.
got us another doll.
이제 게임하러 가도 되겠지?
Looks like I got some rares on this time. Okay. It must have been my mission rewards. Alright, let's head back to the hubs, see what we got, and then I'll give you my first impressions, and then I'll see you guys in the next episode. However, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sometimes it seems like I'm in a hurry to end the episodes. Which this time, with where I'm at, the time period I'm recording, I'm really not. Alright, let's see. Okay. Well, on to my first impressions. There's no real way to describe it. I'm just gonna put that out there. It's a nice game, regardless. There's a lot of stuff too. There's a lot of, well, I can't say there's a lot to it yet. I'm not into it. The crafting system looks like it's pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing really special about the crafting system from what I saw at the moment. Mission system's pretty straightforward. You're led by your nose, you kill the monsters, and then you're able to move on. The graphics are actually not too bad, given, actually the graphics really not that bad. There's a lot better out there, but they're really not that bad, so, for the most part. The story, I've not done much on the story to be able to make a justification on it, but for the most part, the music is, so far, has been kind of boring. I'm just going to put that out there right now. I'm not a fan of the music. But other than that, it's not too bad. I'll just put that out there. I've definitely played better. And I've also played a lot worse. So. Alright. Now as a final little check, I'm going to look at their in-game market. Now this is what's going to tell me if this game is potentially going to be pay to win, some ridiculous things needed that are going to be locked behind paywalls. Okay, now these drivers, they kind of worry me, because they say they help modify your enhancement slots. Now, depending on how important those enhancement slots are, this could be a problem. The drivers could be a bad thing to have put there, depending on what they're actually used for. The bundles, they look like they're your typical little thing. You buy them and they give you everything that's in them. Looks like they do have year-round stuff, which is kind of cool. If they're, depending on the price, I don't want to check in just a second. That could be good or bad. Okay, so far it looks like okay. Alright. And that right there is a no-go. Or right off the bat. Unless you can get this in-game, then them doing stuff like this is utter crap. I'm just gonna put that out there. You do not lock skills behind a paywall, because if you do that and then someone pays a little bit of money, if this is the only way you can get it is by buying that, paying real money to get that, that actually puts a pay to win element to the game. If their only way to get this is by putting money in there to get that, then that is right there is a no-go. I do not like stuff like that at all. You do not lock stuff behind a wall that could be seen as a pay to win. That, if there's no other way to get that, that it can be considered a pay to win, depending on how powerful that is. I'm not sure what these are at the moment, so I can't say anything about that. These I'm not a fan of. Okay, so you can buy materials, you got your premium stuff. Pets. Okay, it's going to be housing. Okay, now housing depends on how they're going to work it. But other than that, I only saw a couple of things that I didn't like. Really didn't like the fact that it looks as there's a chance that one of the character's skills is locked behind a paywall. That right there, I don't like at all. But so far, the game is worth looking at. I am going to do a few more episodes, and before I make my decision whether or not I'm going to give it a good rating or not. Right now, it's still up in the wind because there's some good points and there's still some bad points. So I can't really make a heads or tails out of the game yet. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. So I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good one, guys.